Hello students, welcome to this platform of e-learning. Here I will teach you a poem, A Tiger in the Zoo, written by Leslie Norris. Now I'll give you the introduction of the poem. The poem, written by Leslie Norris, explains the agony and helplessness of a caged tiger that lives in a zoo. The poet explains what his life could be if he had been a free animal. The poet has tried to explain about the condition of animals that are caged by human beings for their own fun. Now I'll give you some details about the poet. George Leslie Norris was born on 21st May 1921 and passed away on 6th April 2006. He was a prize-winning Welsh poet and short story writer. He is considered as most important Welsh writers of the post-war period. Now I will summarize the poem for you. The poem begins with a description of a tiger that is very beautiful and is walking in his little cage. He has beautiful stripes on his skin and has velvet-like soft paws. But the tiger is not happy and is quite angry about being confined in the cage. The poet says that if the tiger was not confined to the zoo cage, he would have been hiding himself behind the long grass near some water body in order to catch its prey, that is the deer. Also, he would have terrorized the residents of the villages around the forest area. But the reality is totally opposite to this. He was confined in a cage which was made up of strong building materials and he was helpless there. He could not show his power to the visitors, therefore never tried to terrorize them. The tiger is described as being powerless and agonized by the poet. He says that during night also he is alone, hearing only the voice of the patrolling vehicles of police and looking at the stars. The cage life has totally changed the tiger's personality. The poet is trying to say that the animal, which is famous for its fearlessness and freedom, is confined and sad due to the human beings who want to derive pleasure by looking at him in the zoo cage. Now I will give you the stanza-wise explanation both on the theme and on literary devices for your clear understanding. He stalks in his vivid stripes, the few steps of his cage, on paths of velvet quiet, in his quiet rage. Here, stalks mean follows, vivid means bright colored, paths mean paws of tiger, rage means anger. Here, the poet says that the tiger is confined in the zoo, moves around in the cage under his bright colored skin. He further says that the tiger can only take few steps because the cage is small and it is not easy to move in it. One cannot hear his footsteps because he has very soft feet like velvet, because of which there is no sound of the tiger's footsteps. The tiger tries to control his anger by quietly walking in the limited area of his cage. He is angry because he is not free. Now I will explain you the literary devices used in the first stanza. The rhyme scheme of this stanza is A, B, C, B. The rhyming pairs are cage, rage. The next literary device is personification. The tiger is personified because the poet refers him as he. The next poetic device is metaphor. Tiger's paws are compared with velvet. The next device is enjambment, which means a sentence continuing to the next line without any punctuation mark. We can see that in the first two lines of the stanza. The next device is imagery. The poet tries to create an image about the tiger. In first two lines, he stalks in his vivid stripes, the few steps of his cage. The next device is consonants. We can see the use of S sound in stalks, his, stripes. The next device is assonance. We can see the use of vowel sound I in his vivid stripes. The next device is oxymoron. We can see the use of adjectives which are opposite in its meaning, quiet, rage. Stanza 2. He should be lurking in shadow, sliding through long grass near the water hole, where plump deer pass. Here, lurking means to be hidden as to wait for the prey. The poet says that if this tiger was free, he would have hid himself behind the long grass near the water bodies so that he could easily catch a deer in order to have it as its food. Basically, the poet wants to say that the actual life of a tiger is to live in jungle where he could catch his prey and eat it, but the tiger in the cage cannot do so. Now let us focus on the literary devices used in stanza 2. The rhyme scheme of this stanza is A, B, C, B. The rhyming pairs are grass, pass. The next device is enjambment. Second line continues to the third line without any punctuation marks. The next device is alliteration. Use of sound P at the start of two words, plump, pass. The next device is imagery. Here the poet tries to create an image of tiger's activity which is mentioned as lurking in shadow. Stanza 3. He should be snarling around houses at the jungle's edge, baring his white fangs, his claws terrorizing the village. Here, snarling means warning sound made by the tiger. Baring means uncovered. Fangs mean sharp teeth of tiger. The poet says that if the tiger would have been free, he would have snarled around the houses located at the outskirts of the forest. He would terrorize people with his sharp teeth and claws. This would create fear among the people living in the villages. Now let us focus on the literary devices used in stanza 3. The rhyme scheme is A, B, C, B. The rhyming pairs are edge, village. The next device is enjambment. First line continues to the next line without punctuation marks. The next device is onomatopoeia. Onomatopoeia means using words which denote sound. Here the word snarling is used. The next device is assonance. The use of vowel sound O is found in should, around, houses, and I is found in barring, his, white, his. The next device is consonance. The use of consonant sound S is found in is, fangs, his, claws. Stanza 4. But he is locked in a concrete cell, his strength behind bars, stalking the length of his cage, ignoring visitors. Here, concrete means building made of bricks, cement, sand, and water. Now the poet comes to the reality of the tiger that is inside the cage. He says that the tiger is confined in a strong cell which is made of strong building materials. He further says that as the tiger is behind bars, so his ferociousness is also behind the bars. He just stalks in the cage. He never tries to terrorize the visitors because his power is restricted by the cage. Therefore, he never tries to terrorize the visitors as he cannot attack them. Now, let us focus on the literary devices used in stanza 4. The rhyme scheme is A, B, C, B. The rhyming pairs are bars, visitors. The next device is personification. The tiger is personified because the poet refers the tiger as he. The next device is assonance. Use of vowel sound E is found in he, locked, concrete, cell. The next device is consonance. Use of consonant sound S is found in his, strength, bars. The next device is alliteration. Use of sound B at the start of two words behind bars. Stanza 5. He hears the last voice at night, the patrolling cars, and stares with his brilliant eyes at the brilliant stars. Here, patrolling means to guard. The poet says that in the night, the tiger hears the sound of the patrolling cars. Patrolling cars are the vehicles of police which are used to guard at night. So in the night, the tiger hears the sound of these cars. He then stares at the shining stars with his shining eyes. The poet wants to say that the tiger is sad and as he is confined in the cage, so he cannot do anything. Therefore, he stares at the stars in the night and tries to divert his thoughts towards them. Now let us focus on the literary devices used in the stanza 5. The rhyme scheme is A, B, C, B and it is followed throughout the poem. The rhyming pairs are cars, stars. The next device is enjambment. Line 3 continues to the line 4 without any punctuation mark. The next device is alliteration. Use of sound H in the starting of two words, he hears. The next device is assonance. We can see the use of I sound in with, his, brilliant. Now let's focus on the central idea of the poem. In this poem, Leslie Norris tries to depict the mental condition of a caged tiger. He compares the life of a tiger in the zoo with its life in its natural habitat. The poet conveys an important message that the wild animals should be in their natural habitat. In the poem, he heightens the contrast between freedom and captivity. He very impressively shows us how love for freedom is the natural instinct of every living being. Hope you benefited. If so, like, share and subscribe. Thanks for watching.